Welcome back to part 2 of my conversation with Marie, author of Have You Had Your Coffee Break Today, but Not the Way You Think. If you loved part 1, where we uncovered the fascinating history of enemas and how they've been used for centuries, from Egyptians and Greeks to Mayans and Hindus, you are going to love where we go next. In this episode, Marie takes us even deeper into the truth about toxins, liver health, and real healing. With nearly 40 years of experience as a medical herbalist, she explains how toxins affect the liver, how that connects to the gallbladder disease, chronic fatigue, hormone imbalances, and even emotional struggles like anger and depression. We'll also talk about what happens when the liver becomes burdened by things like alcohol, birth control pills, antidepressants, steroids, drugs, even certain vaccines, and how simple God-given tools like coffee enemas can help the body heal naturally. If you've been feeling stuck, tired, or out of balance, this conversation will give you hope and direction. And don't forget, I've included a complete liver and digestion protocol within my program that has step-by-step videos and instructions, and I'll be linking Marie's powerful book in the show notes. So grab your tea, take a deep breath, and get ready, because part 2 is where healing gets real.
Gallbladder gone. Now what? Let's heal from the inside out.
Welcome to Gallbladder Gone? Now what? The podcast for Christian women navigating life after gallbladder removal. Hosted by Jami, holistic nutritionist, wife, boy mum, grandma, and a firm believer in God's design for lasting health. Did you know that over 1.2 million Americans have their gallbladders removed every year, and that the majority of them are women? Even more eye-opening is that all gallbladder issues are digestive issues, and poor digestion is at the root of up to 80% of all disease, including hormone imbalances and weight struggles. While Jami isn't a doctor and this podcast isn't medical advice, she shares real solutions rooted in research, experience, and God's Word. Let's get practical, biblical, and real, one step at a time.
And you mentioned in your book, and I'm going to quote here, it says, in almost 30 years of being a medical herbalist and seeing people for a variety of ailments, toxins are real, and the liver dysfunction they cause are real, and the diseases which occur from these dysfunctions are real. So can you talk about how this can relate to gallbladder disease and how we can continue to turn that around?
Okay, first of all, it's now almost 40 years
Now
that
almost
I'm a herbalist. I got to update that. Yeah, it's now almost 40 years. Yeah, the way it relates to gallbladder, again, is that you have to realize that the gallbladder does not have a problem unless the liver is having a problem. That's the first thing you have to realize.
Mhm.
And so when you understand that, you start taking something for the liver. And in my book, I cover a few herbs that I love, that I know are effective for many, many things, but I'll mention them right now. I don't think anyone would not benefit from starting a good quality milk thistle.
Okay.
That's one thing right there. And then another one, dandelion, my absolute favorite, because in my book, I go on about how I learned, that was my first herb I learned. Dandelion has so many benefits to the liver and gallbladder.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, you know how when the dandelion has the flower,
Yes.
you have the stem. If you pick about 10 of those flowers, the long stem, keep the stem on, wash it off. Don't cut the flower until you wash the outside of the stem off.
Okay.
Then snap the flower off and chew those slowly each day.
Chew
for
the
a course
flower or the stem?
The stem.
The stem.
Because see, if you wash it, if you cut the flower off and you wash the stem, there's a milky substance inside that you'll wash out. That's the medicine. So you don't want to cut the flower off until you wash the stem. Cut the flower off and then chew the stem, 10 stems, slowly each day for 2 weeks. I guarantee you your gallbladder is going to get a whole lot better. That's just one thing. That's just one simple thing that people can do. But today you have to make sure the lawn wasn't sprayed.
Yeah,
You have to
that's
go someplace where it's not sprayed, because
absolutely.
people today, and I do talk about this in the book, it breaks my heart when I see people spray the medicine that's out in your yard. The dandelion is so healing to the liver and gallbladder.
Hmm.
And so the first thing, if somebody's having a gallbladder problem, I would take something for the liver, and like milk thistle. I would take dandelion, which is going to be liver and gallbladder. And I would also do that gallbladder cleanse I was talking about. There is it's actually 3 days. The third day, it's 2 days that you fast on organic apple juice. We can go into that later. And on the third day, you will dump everything out of your gallbladder that's in there. And I always tell people, tell me what you see,
Hmm.
because um, uh, gallstones float. And so they can actually look in the commode and see. A lot of times people come and say, I passed like 30, 40 stones. I can't believe it. And then if not, they'll pass, it'll break up so much. The stones will break up so much over that cleanse that it's sludge.
Mm,
And they'll tell me that it's sludge. That's okay. You clean the gallbladder out, and immediately after that point, their gallbladder will be working properly and they will feel the relief. Like some people I've had get back pain straight across the middle of their back, like chest wise, like
uh-huh.
right across the chest back. Other people, it actually almost mimics a heart attack. Their left arm will start because there are trigger points along the arm and shoulder blade that relate to the liver.
Okay.
And so liver gallbladder, so they will get that kind of pain thinking it's the heart, but it's actually the gallbladder.
Yeah.
And they'll see that go as soon as they get the garbage out of the gallbladder. Their gallbladder works properly, but then keep taking the stuff for the liver, because you don't want to end up back having your gallbladder messed up. So even though I'll tell them, okay, you're taking these herbs for the liver gallbladder, now I want you to do a gallbladder cleanse, but after that cleanse, you keep taking your liver herbs. You're going to
Yeah.
be taking them. And I don't think that, like I said, I don't think anyone would not benefit from taking something like milk thistle.
Absolutely. Going back to your I love dandelion. Was my first herbal ally. And
Yeah, I love it.
I lived in Iowa, so we had just
Yeah,
tons of it, right?
everywhere.
And
Yeah, yeah.
so a gentleman at church, um, he was talking to me, and I can't remember what kind of cancer he had. I'm trying to remember. And I said, you know what? One thing that I've learned, and I told him a little bit about dandelion. I said, so even if you eat the leaves or juice it or whatever,
Mhm.
and I can't remember exactly what I said, but what he interpreted as, he came back probably, it was a little bit later, like a couple months later, and he said, I'm cancer free. I'm like, oh my gosh, that is such good news. What
Amen.
did you do? He goes, I did exactly what you told me to do. I juiced a gallon of dandelion juice and drank it every day. And I was like, that's not
Amen.
what I said, but good for you. So somehow he heard
That's it.
that.
That's it. That's
And
it. That,
I mean, what a trooper
yeah.
juicing
Yeah.
that. And he's
Yeah.
happy and going today. So. All right. So my next question for you,
Praise God. See,
praise God.
that's what I mean. It's like it's medicine. That's why I get so upset when I see people spraying the dandelions, because it is such a potent medicine. People really don't realize. I mean, I have my dogs on dandelion.
Yeah.
I give them dandelion in their food. I open the capsules in their food, and just keep their livers good, in their
Yeah.
food. So,
And
I
I
mean, it's a
really believe,
valuable herb
as an herbalist, don't you believe that God puts in our longitude, latitude, and altitude the herbs that we need? So,
that we
like
need.
here, I'm in the desert. I don't get a lot of dandelion, unfortunately, but one of the
Uh-huh.
ones that I get is what people call goat heads. And so
Uh-huh.
everyone's always like, I hate goat heads, spray for the goat heads. But when I was
Uh-uh.
doing in Ayurveda school, those are what we call gokshura, and they're
Uh-huh.
very healthy for the liver and gallbladder and to cool
Right.
the body and to nourish the body. And I'm like, we're surrounded by God's medicine and we think that they're noxious weeds.
And
And they're
see,
not.
and you're in the desert, and God is putting an herb which cools the liver, which
Mm-hmm.
your environment can actually cause your liver to get warm. There's foods that
Mm-hmm.
cause your liver to get hot too, but the environment can also. And I go one step further. You said, you believe God puts it in your environment there. I go one step further. Every time I move and to a new place, I look at the herbs that are in my yard or
Mm-hmm.
around my yard, and I will find herbs that maybe I have not been taking at that point, and
Mm-hmm.
I'll say, well, God, I think I'm probably going to need these in the near future because they're here. Just recently, my husband, we moved into the house where we are now. It'll be 3 years. And just recently, my husband found out that he has thyroid dysfunction.
Mm.
And guess what? I have a ton of on my property, but herbs such as bugleweed,
Oh God.
which nourishes the thyroid, and mugwort, which nourishes the thyroid and regulates it. And so that's one of my points. I saw it all over here, and I said, well, I don't need bugleweed right now, but I'll bet you I will in the near future. Well, here it's my husband.
I love
So
that because I've noticed that too. It's like it's there when I need it.
it's
Um,
there when you need it. Yeah.
it's such a
Yeah.
blessing.
It is. It is. So
And,
look for what's around you. That's I love when I teach my classes because I'll cover like 12 common herbs in my area here
uh-huh.
in Western Pennsylvania. And most of them people consider weeds. And I'll say, no, these are valuable herbs and they're growing right here. Learn how to use them.
I
You
do
know,
that in my
learn how to
classes.
use them.
I've brought purslane, I've brought London Rocket, I brought all the mallows and stuff, and they're
Uh-huh.
like, these are weeds, and I'm like, taste them. They're delicious
Uh-uh.
and they're
That's
healthy,
right.
and and they're always like, what? I'm like, yeah, stop assuming everything's bad and let's
Uh-huh.
assume it's a gift.
Uh-huh. And I have right now, I have a ton of yellow dock that grows here. And
Mm,
yellow dock is a powerful liver gallbladder herb.
yeah.
Powerful liver gallbladder. And I said, okay. So I just made a bunch of tincture. I just dug up roots and made a bunch of tincture because it's like, I got my free medicine. It's like, here it is. And it's a great source of natural iron,
Yes.
yellow dog.
Yep.
So I have it in abundance.
In abundance, and then we use it, and it's amazing stuff. So you also
Yeah.
said in your book that there, quote, there may be excessive toxicity or damage of liver tissue caused by various substances such as alcohol, birth control pills, antidepressants, steroid drugs, including topical cortisone creams, fungi, and various vaccines. So what can coffee enemas do if we've intentionally or unintentionally, you know, damaged ourselves with those?
Well, there's two things. First of all, as I said, when you do a coffee, it is stimulating the liver to not only dump the toxin, but to restore itself, regenerate itself. So here's what happens. If you take herbs for the liver, and those herbs are going to go in and start loosening the debris in the liver, okay?
Uh-huh. Hmm.
And then when you do the coffees can flush that out of the liver, and that restores function to the liver. Each time you do a coffee, you restore the liver function. The liver starts pumping better, starts filtering better. It's stimulated into better action. It's not sluggish. It gets rid of congestion in the liver, which can cause a lot of different health issues. And so um, that's what you can do because, yeah, we're exposed to stuff. And I talk about this in the book. We're exposed to stuff today that we were never meant to be exposed to. Where just in the environment alone, just in the food, the processing alone, you know, you
Absolutely.
can eat as much organic as you can, but you're still going to be getting foods that have pesticides, preservatives, things like that,
Yeah.
that you can't get away from. So we all have to just, the fumes from cars, the chemicals that they put on food to grow the food. But one of the absolute biggest destroyer is alcohol to the liver. And um, today, people drink more than they ever have, younger and younger.
Yeah.
They drink, and so their livers are being shot. I've had teenagers and people in their 20s that have livers that are far worse than people in their 60s and 70s because when I get down to it, they're either doing a lot of alcohol or recreational drugs or over the counter drugs, you
Hmm.
know. Like
Yeah.
they'll pop something for a headache or for muscle pain or, whatever. So there's a lot of reasons for liver toxicity today. But anybody will get better, and the coffees will help restore that liver and get those poisons out of the system.
Okay, so you're talking about or alcohol, and
Mhm.
so it's okay then to take our tinctures because it's just that small amount, or would you suggest
No,
glycerin?
what happens there? Well, there's two kinds of extracts that you can get, either an alcohol based, which is the traditional, or glycerin based.
Hmm.
Okay. When you use alcohol, like for instance, I use an 80 proof vodka to extract my, like I was
Hmm.
just talking about yellow dog. Okay. Well, what happens is it's called drowning. When the herbs drown the alcohol. Once that
Oh.
alcohol is used to pull the properties out of the herb, the alcohol has lost its potency as an alcohol.
Oh, good.
Okay.
Okay.
So it's not like drinking. If I would take, 2 or 3 tablespoons of an extract in water,
Hmm.
that's not like I'm taking 2 or 3 tablespoons of vodka.
Okay.
It no longer has that potency. It's been drowned by the action of pulling the potency of the herb out.
Okay.
So,
That makes.
yeah, so it's not going to damage. It's not going to have the damage of alcohol drinking like you would, like, beer or wine or, hard liquor or anything like that. And
Yeah.
when your liver is healthy, I do talk about this briefly in the book. When your liver is healthy, which I've never seen anybody with one that doesn't need work, you can process like a shot of hard liquor, one
Hmm.
beer, or 4 ounces of wine. But when your liver is not functioning, you can't even process those without damage. So you have to stop that until you can get your liver working better again,
Yeah.
and
Hmm.
maybe a year down the road, you can say, okay, I can start having a little
Yeah.
bit, not a lot, but you can have a little bit, So but you have to eliminate the stuff. It's just like if somebody has diabetes, you're going to tell them you're not going to eat cakes and pies, and you're not going to have tons of bread. You have to eliminate that from your diet in order for your pancreas to heal.
Yeah.
It's the same deal with the liver. If the liver's being hit and it's not functioning, you have to eliminate the alcohol or the drugs in order to heal that organ. You
Hmm.
know, you do have to have lifestyle changes. The worse it is, the more you have to do things. Yeah.
Okay, so you mentioned something before that I want to touch on that women really struggle with, two things, which is fatigue and headaches.
Yeah.
So the coffee,
Both from the liver.
that's
Both from the liver.
so
You
if
know,
someone is continually like tired, then it's just keep those coffee enemas going. And then,
exactly.
okay, go ahead and
And take something for the liver. Take an herb for the liver.
okay.
If dandelion root, if it's a yellow dock, if it's burdock root, if it's milk thistle, there are many. There are hundreds of herbs. I always tell people go to a good health food store that has a book department,
Hmm.
or go to a bookstore and research get some good books on herbs and just start reading. Look up some good herbs and start taking them for the liver,
Yeah.
um, and the gallbladder. Start taking those herbs and do the coffees, and I guarantee you that you're going to see the energy come up. The two big things today, there's a lot of things that are happening, but two big things that have been going on for quite a while is fatigue, people complaining about fatigue, and also um, depression. I see
Hmm.
so many drugs, on TV, all the ads for these, and I just get so upset about that. I talk back to the TV a whole lot, when I see these commercials, because it's like the very thing that you're giving a drug for the very thing that has already been caused by a drug
Yes.
in the liver. The liver has malfunctioned. It's usually from drugs, and it's caused depression. And now you're giving another drug, and it's going to cause the liver to be worse and worse.
Mhm.
You know,
And that's the thing.
so yeah, the fatigue is something that you'll definitely see it improve right away. You will definitely, like you did in 2 weeks,
Hmm.
be consistent with it, be consistent, and you will see. it's amazing how much energy you get after a coffee enema. It's
Yeah.
amazing, you know.
And that's the thing is that, like you said, if you get a headache and you take an over-the-counter drug and then you get another headache, now you're taking these,
It's a cycle. Yeah,
yeah,
it's
these
just
cycles,
making.
and it's a little bit of a challenge when you have a headache. I had a headache the other day, and I had to do all the things, and also making sure that I am sleeping and that I am managing my
Mhm.
stress, but also, taking those breaks and knowing that.
The only time I get a headache is if something hit me, like I told you, when the meningitis hit,
Mhm.
something very, very toxic, but structural problems.
Yeah.
So, if your back is out, your neck is out, you can
Mhm.
get a headache from that. But then, you'll be fine. But most headaches, with the exception of like some kind of brain injury or spine injury, most headaches are caused by liver toxicity, and they can be immediately eliminated with a coffee enema, which I think is just absolutely wonderful. Instead of taking some kind of pill that's going to, a lot of the, like acetaminophen and ibuprofen, they harm the liver.
Yeah.
So they take you're having a headache, you take that. Well, it seems like it helps, but it's actually made the root problem worse,
Yeah.
the liver toxicity. So you're going to get more headaches.
Mhm.
So, now migraines, there's two things going on. Migraines, it's the liver and the kidney.
Oh.
Are two major filters. You have toxicity in the liver and in the kidney. So for that, you want to hit both areas with herbs to cleanse those two major organs, and then do your coffees.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds good.
And you will cure migraines.
I love that because again, I have a lot of clients come to me, and again, we are using the herbs and we're doing the lifestyle changes as well as the coffee enemas because, they want to come in, they're like, oh, if I just get a massage, and I'm a massage therapist, my husband's a massage therapist, and it's like you said, sometimes it is structural, but more times it's that we need to do some major cleansing. And my worry is that a lot of women, and I'm going to talk to women, but I'm sure men do it too, will try to cleanse without opening your detox pathways, right? So,
Right.
so they're not using an enema or also in conjunction with a clay bath or with a steam sauna
Right.
or dry brushing or all of these other things that are we
Right.
are we sweating? Are we having gut bowel movements? Are we having good urination? Are we doing
Right.
these things? So they go in and they do this detox and they release all these toxins that just swim around and then they feel like crap. And
Well, that's why I'm convinced the healing crisis is something that I saw over the years, where early on I figured out that when you're taking the herbs, you had to do something to get what was loosened by the herbs out of the body. You
hmm
had to, because if not, they were going to keep circulating in the bloodstream.
yeah,
And when you consider that the liver pumps all of our blood every 3 minutes, it passes through the liver. That liver's got a big job to do, and if it keeps circulating with those toxins, it's like your car having dirty oil. It's going to just gunk up and gunk up, and more problems are going to happen in the engine, which is our whole body.
hmm
Okay, just like the dirty oil will eventually mess up the whole engine of a car. That's what the bloodstream being toxic, the liver not being able to filter the toxins, will do to our body. It will just start shutting down. It will start having problems. It will have multiple problems if we
yeah,
don't clean them. So it's very important to clean the blood. I've had people that have had serious heart issues, and they did different medicines, and they went to their doctor, and they did various things. And the minute that I started to have them work on the liver, explaining what I just said to you
yeah,
about the blood is dirty, it's laboring that heart. The heart's a muscle, and that toxic blood is trying to pump. That heart is trying to pump that toxic blood, and
mm,
it's laboring that heart. So as soon as you start cleansing the liver and the blood starts getting cleaner, the heart is relieved of that burden. The heart starts responding and healing.
mm,
So it's like it's such an immense important job to keep the liver clean and functioning. It
yeah,
really is. It really is. It's I can't say enough. And gallbladder, like I said, if you have your gallbladder, That gallbladder is supposed to work with the liver, and you can save your gallbladder. You don't have to, unless it's an emergency like gangrene or something, you don't have to lose your gallbladder. But for those that have lost their gallbladder, you just start working on your liver, get your liver healthy, because you will have other health issues. Them taking the gallbladder out did not rectify the problem.
Yeah, absolutely.
There are a lot of people that I have seen that had their gallbladder taken out that end up having severe intestinal problems, that like Crohn's disease, ulcerative colitis, these kind of problems. And it's because the body can't emulsify that fat anymore.
Yeah,
And there's one thing too, when you have your gallbladder taken out, you should take a vitamin E, a good quality vitamin E, because your body cannot extract that from your food anymore. I don't know if you know that. Yeah, you can't
I knew
extract
that we couldn't do A, D, E, and Ks, and we need to really work on those.
Yeah. Now you can, you can do the D is not as bad as E. E is the one that really you can't extract from the body. And and speaking of that, the liver, just to show you, if your liver is healthy, if your liver is functioning the way it should, and it will after you do herbs for the liver and do coffees regularly, you can store enough vitamin A for 4 years. Did you know that? And you can store vitamin D for 4 months.
That's amazing. Our bodies are just fantastic.
That's how amazing. Yeah, that's how amazing the liver is. It's, because a lot of people say to me, should I take this vitamin or that all the time? No, not really. Not once I get you to where I want you to be with the liver. No, you don't have to take that all the time.
Yeah.
Because then I know you'll be storing stuff enough, and so that's some of the information there.
Again, what incredible insight from Marie. In this episode, part 2, we explored so much from how toxins truly impact liver and gallbladder health and how that connects to fatigue, hormones, and even emotions like anger, frustration, and depression. Marie's wisdom and nearly 40 years of experience as a medical herbalist gave us so much of a powerful reminder that healing is not just physical, it's spiritual and emotional too. But now we're getting to what so many of you have been waiting for, the protocol. In our next episode, part 3, we will be talking about how to begin, what herbs to explore, and how to safely start a coffee enema routine, and what to expect along the way. We'll touch on real stories, what happens during a healing crisis, and why adding something as simple as a clay bath can make such a huge difference in your recovery. Marie will also share what to expect afterwards, from oil floating to mucoid plaque, and how to interpret what your body is releasing as it heals. If you're ready to take the next step, I've included links in the show notes to help you get started right away. You can choose my DIY option, or you can work directly with me one-on-one to build a personalized protocol that combines history, science, and sacred text to truly heal your body. And make sure you subscribe, because part 3 is where we bring it all together. You'll hear Marie's practical steps and the healing experiences that will inspire you to take your own coffee break in a whole new way. Until next time, remember, healing isn't complicated. It's simply returning to the wisdom God already built into your body. Until then, happy digesting.
If this episode encouraged you or offered practical insight, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. Leaving a review, subscribing, and sharing with even one friend helps more people discover this message, and Jami is truly grateful for your support. Be sure to check the show notes for free downloads, helpful resources, and a link to join Jami's private Facebook group for extra support and community that blends practical health with biblical truth. Just a reminder, Jami isn't a doctor, so always consult your healthcare provider before making changes to your health plan.